For this project, you'll need safety glasses and gloves, a Phillips head screwdriver.
Start adjustment steps only after frame is installed plumb, level, and square, and the hinge anchor screws have been installed so that the hinge leaves and the door frame are securely mounted to the rough opening. The first thing to look for is to ensure that all hinges are carrying the panel load. Close the door panel and inspect hinges for any gaps in the middle. If there is a gap in the middle between the two hinge barrels, then the hinge needs adjusting. Open the door panel to gain access to the hinge adjustment screws. Open the middle hinge gap to the maximum and begin with closing the hinge gap at the upper and lower hinges first. Adjust the hinge gap with the vertical gap adjustment screw. Close gap by using a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver to rotate the adjustment screw over the top towards the V indicator. Once the upper and lower hinge gaps have been sufficiently closed, close the middle hinge gap. Once the hinge barrels are touching, rotate the vertical adjustment screw up to one additional turn to fully load the hinge, making sure that loading the hinge doesn't create an additional gap on any of the other hinges. Repeat as needed. Next, it's best to check the vertical gap. With door panel closed, check the gap between the top of the door panel and frame head and the gap between the bottom of the door panel and the frame sill. Adjust the hinge gap with the vertical gap adjustment screw. Raise the panel by using a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver to rotate the adjustment screw over the top towards the V indicator and rotating the opposite direction to lower the panel. It takes approximately 15 full revolutions to move from tick mark to tick mark. Each tick mark is roughly 1/8 from the other. Adjust as needed to ensure vertical gaps are equal. The last step is to measure the horizontal gap. Close door panel and check gap spacing just above and below the hinges. If gap spacing is inconsistent or more than 0.1 inch, then the hinge needs horizontal adjustment. Use the horizontal gap adjustment screw, which adjusts the gap between the panel and the jamb. Clockwise closes the gap, while counterclockwise opens the gap. Adjustment range achieved in approximately 3 revolutions, where each revolution moves the hinge roughly 0.060 inches. Check horizontal gaps explained at the first part of this video. If the gaps are within the specified range, open and close the door panel a few times to make sure that there is no clashing. Repeat as needed.